Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brooke Buckner here with meteorologist Simone Thomas. Sarah has the weekend off. Now Simone, some of us got some much needed rain today, but what's it looking like going into the work week and the first day of school?
You know, we've got a little bit of rain. It was a bit gloomy, helped us stay a little bit cooler than we anticipated today. As we look towards tomorrow, it'll be a little bit on the gloomy side. We could see some rain across some of those north central Arkansas counties, but the big story is going to be the clouds. Temperatures just barely breaking into the lower 90s. So to start, when you're waiting at the bus stop, likely going to be in those upper 60s, lower 70s. By lunchtime, recess looking to start to hit the lower 80s, and on that ride home in the evening, that's where we'll be in the upper 80s, some places even closing in on that 90-degree mark. Here's a look across the state tomorrow where we're looking to see those highs. As you see, the northern half of the state and a lot of those lower to middle 80s, that's where we're going to see some extra clouds, maybe even some of those spotty showers that'll try to make their way into north central Arkansas. The farther south you look, that's where you see more of those upper 80s and lower 90s, because we'll see a little more sunshine in the forecast. So a nice mix around the state, but we'll have a few more opportunities for rain over the coming days, as well as that heat and humidity making a return. I'll give you all the details on that in your 7-day outlook.
Breaking right now, Little Rock police are investigating a shooting this evening that left 2 people dead. The 2 victims, an adult and a juvenile, were found dead on South Shackelford Road from what looked like gunshot wounds. However, police were able to secure the area and the investigation is currently ongoing. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Little Rock Police. And developing right now, state officials are looking for 2 missing children who happen to be brother and sister. 11-year-old Marcus Epps Jr. and 7-year-old Armani Epps were last seen around midnight after their mother took them from their home. The mother, Kebrianna Mitchell, currently does not have any custodial rights to the children. Right now, there's a warrant out for her arrest on 2 counts of kidnapping. If you have any information, you're urged to contact the Camden Police Department. And over in Pine Bluff, nearly 20 firefighters from 6 different companies worked to put out massive flames at a vacant church this afternoon. They responded just after 4:15 to 507 West 6th Avenue. The Pine Bluff Fire Department says there are no injuries and the cause is under investigation. And a Jonesboro police officer has been fired after he was seen on camera beating up a detained passenger. In the video, a detained man in a hospital gown tells officers he has fentanyl wrapped inside aluminum foil that he ate. Joseph Harris can be seen getting in the back seat of the police car to repeatedly punch and elbow the man. No charges against the officer have been announced at this time. You can head on over to our website, thv11.com, for more information. And tonight, officials are looking for answers after the body of a 74-year-old man was recovered from Lake Hamilton Saturday. According to the Garland County Sheriff's Office, the body was found in the Long Beach Point area of the lake after a person spotted the body. When officials arrived to the scene, they say the victim was unresponsive, and the investigation is still ongoing. THV11 is your back-to-school central, and many parents and kids and teachers are gearing up for their first day of school tomorrow. And several groups are getting in on the fun by supporting kids ahead of their first day, including members of Pleasant Grove CME Church. They played a huge role in this year's summer cereal drive, and now they're doing their part in making sure kids are set up for success this upcoming school year.
I do know that I think there's like 25% of the children in Pulaski County go to bed hungry. And so for that reason, you know, there's not enough that we can do. I wish that we could do more, but you know, everything that we do is helping one child to have at least one meal a day. So that's important.
And coming up, we're taking an even closer look at this church and how we'll show you how a pastor kept his promise on what he said he'll do if they reach a certain goal. And as kids go back to school, one event today focused on giving back to them and the community. THV11's Carter Thweet was there. Carter, what else can you tell us about the event?
Brooke, Sunday afternoon, kids at Skills Barbershop could get free back-to-school haircuts, and they showed out in big numbers. Here are just a few of our favorite clips from the day.
Yeah, just get ready to roll for the school year.
Gary Ellison is the owner of Skills Barbershop in Little Rock. For years now, his shop has given kids free back-to-school haircuts even before it was called Skills.
Even when I had a shop by myself, I was still doing free haircuts for the kids.
Lori Williams is one grandparent who brought her grandkids in for the event. But her connections to this shop go deeper than just a cheap cut. She's known Ellison for years.
As Gary has always been like a pillar of the community around here. Before he even moved over here, he used to be over on Fair Park. And the kids would line up in the middle of the night, leaving one spot to get in line to get a haircut.
She says her grandkids were excited about the event, and she thinks it's an important service.
With a good haircut, you go in and, you're going to have a good day and a good school year.
Others felt the same way, with some kids and parents lining up outside before the event. Ellison says he recognizes many of them, and that's what makes this event so special.
It's just a good thing to do, just to help out the community, because we from the community, so it only makes sense to give back.
And he knows the kids will appreciate it.
We're going to put a lot of kids in the game. They're going to look very, very nice when they hit those doors in the morning.
Ellison also shouted out groups who donated to make the event possible, including Entergy Arkansas and Hope Connections, a local nonprofit. You can head over to our website at thv11.com for more information.
When an idea or belief takes off in popularity, it can seem to be true. In our Conquering Cancer story this month, THV11's Karen Fuller goes one-on-one with a cancer surgeon at the UAMS Winthrop P. Rockefeller Cancer Institute to answer some common myths about the disease that can affect almost anyone.
The work going on behind the scenes at the UAMS Cancer Institute is never ending. Dr. Thomas Kang is one of many surgeons who dedicate their careers to preventing and treating one of the deadliest diseases known to man, cancer.
It's not something that anybody wants to hear, and it is a very vulnerable time for our patients.
We asked Dr. Kang to address some myths commonly associated with cancer and based on a newly released article by the National Cancer Institute. The first, is cancer a death sentence?
Speaking just strictly from a surgical standpoint, cancer in general, and for most people, is not necessarily a death sentence.
Dr. Kang says advances in treatments are rapidly arriving, and he looks forward to those advances in his field of expertise, colorectal cancer. Myth number 2, will eating sugar make my cancer worse?
Obviously, common sense dictates that having too much sugar, like drinking, say, 2 to 3 sodas a day, is probably not as good as, say, maybe choosing water over those beverages. But sugar in and of itself does not cause your cancer to grow or spread to other places.
This next myth has only been around for the past few decades. Do cell phones cause cancer?
And there are cell phone towers all around. There's, electric magnetic fields, right? So I think people maybe get concerned about that, but if there is even a risk of that, I think it's probably minuscule and no definitive solid evidence to support that cell phones actually cause cancer.
Our next myth relates to homeopathic treatments. Are there herbal products that can cure cancer?
Generally, no. I do tell my patients that if you don't think it's harming you, say, we all take, I think, for most of our people take multivitamins, right? Can vitamins cure cancer? No. But we know that having a sufficient level of micronutrients like vitamins or minerals can help the body function.
And finally, do cancers act the same way in everyone? Dr. Kang says while there is a wealth of knowledge and studies on cancer characteristics, he looks at each patient he sees as an individual.
Every body is different, and whenever I meet with my patients who have the cancer diagnosis, I try to come up with an individualized plan, right? And it needs to really address not just their cancer treatment needs, but their socioeconomic, spiritual needs, their physical needs, because not everyone can undergo or tolerate the same kinds of treatments.
In Little Rock, Karen Fuller, THV 11 News.
Remembering a man loved by all of his students. As we approach the anniversary of a school security guard being hit and killed directing traffic, we hear from his family on how they're making sure his legacy lives forever in just 3 minutes. Simone?
Highs climbing to the upper 80s, some lower 90s sprinkled in under gloomy skies for the first day of school. I'll have that 7-day outlook coming up after this break.